Yali Madad, so we would like to now hear from each one of you what you have read about three verses from Quran. So read the numbers of verses, what you read, and tell me what you learned or understood. Very short, very brief.
Okay, so the first one you had us research was 932, which is from Surah Tawbah, and it talks about how people will use words to extinguish God's light, but God will not allow it. So basically, the idea that there will be all kinds of ways that will try to disprove God or God's light, but it won't happen. And then the next one is 66:8, right? And it's saying about how if you repent, then you may possibly get paradise. Not necessarily that you will, but with His thank you, with His mercy, you may be able to achieve paradise. And then the last one, which is 57:12, it says that everything in the world is to glorify God.
One of the, I mean, I just have a summary of all of them. So one of them was the more Giryazari you do, the more, closer you'll get to Allah. And then, the other one was that you have so many things in this world that you get distracted with. So you have to keep coming back to Giryazari and knowing that, it's you have to go back to the same route.
Okay, go ahead, Ken.
So everything that was said already, but also in 66:8, because there's a prayer is made to complete my light. So the idea that the light can be coming in stages, and you have to seek to have it completed or more complete. And then 57 was it 57:12 is very similar, but in this case, I think they mentioned the prophet was amongst them, and it's the same thing. Like this is the day when you see the light is complete. But I didn't. The question I had was about the right side and the front. What's the significance of the front and right?
Good.
Why is it those specifically sides mentioned?
Right. Okay. Very good.
So yes, all of that. So from the first one, it was to say, and I think when it said that there will be people that try to extinguish the light, there's multiple ways, like multiple different lights it might be talking about. Like obviously, those who don't believe in the nur of the imam, they will kind of try to blow it away. And I remember specifically in the Quran when you read it in Arabic, it's kind of like a blowing sound, and that's what the extinguish, that word comes from, is that blowing sound, and that even if you try to do that, it won't extinguish. And then whenever it said that, it reminded me of Ayah Nur, because it says that this light has always been lit. It hasn't been lit. Like, that just kind of reminded me that it was always there. And then from the next verse, saying that if you ask for forgiveness, that that will be so the mercy, it will be granted. And then and the last one was 57:12. There's something I remember. I don't know if it was exactly 57:12 or I went into 13 as well, but it said that the people that didn't believe will be saying, "Wait for me." But like the vision I had was that the people that believe will continue forward, and those who say wait for me, they'll be kind of like already left behind. So they're going to be trying to get help once they realize what they've kind of missed out on. So sort of what I gathered.
Subhanallah, you all have done a great job. But Zara did something different, and I'll talk about it. What she did, she read another ayat after that. So good practice is, whenever you are trying to study one ayat, go one before at least and one after. Always have that practice. Now, we'll ask him to give us a lecture on these ayats, because these are very important ayats. But I will just, take example of, or I'll read each ayat and I'll tell you how to read, kind of, okay? I don't know a lot. I'm learning with you guys, so please don't think I know everything. And I'll read it in Urdu. Okay? 932. ये लोग चाहते हैं कि अल्लाह के नूर को अपनी फूंकों से बुझा दे. तो क्वेश्चन वुड बी, व्हाट इज नूर? आई हैव टू आस्क माई सेल्फ, डू आई नो नूर? फूंकों से बुझा दे, क्या या मोमबत्ती बुझाने की बात हो रही है? व्हाट आर वी टॉकिंग अबाउट? व्हाट डज एक्सटिंग्विशिंग मीन्स? क्वेश्चन. So when I'm reading this, I'm writing questions too. Okay, because I can ask here, I can learn more, right? So I can ask. मगर अली अल्लाह अपने नूर को मुकम्मल किए बगैर मानने वाला नहीं है. Now what does completion of nur means? I need to ask. Because I don't know, I'm here to learn, right? So that I would write down that question. खा काफरों को कितना ही नागवार हो. So there are 3 questions I have raised and I will ask him to talk about it. So 932. You want to talk about that and then we go there, or you want me to do all together?
Go and read all three.
Okay. So we'll just have kind of practice how to read, okay?
So what she is showing is how to read and how to think of the question.
Now 66:8, which is Tahrim, Surah Tahrim, ayat is ए लोगो जो ईमान लाए हो. Now ए लोगो जो ईमान लाए हो. So that tells me there are people who are not believers. This is only specifically to those who are believers. So my question to myself is, am I a believer? What does it mean? What is the criteria for believer? Do I know it? Okay. Allah se tawbah karo. Khalis tawbah. Now there is tawbah and there is khalis tawbah. So that means there are 2 kinds of tawbah. Do I know it? I don't think so. I want to know more about it, right? बैद नहीं कि अली अल्लाह तुम्हारी बुराइयां दूर कर दे. बुराइयां दूर कर दे. We always say, या मौला हमारे गुनाहों को माफ कर. Here we are not saying that. You need to ask question. We are not asking, he is not teaching us that ask for forgiveness. We have heard those kind of ayat. There will be ayat where it would say that ask for forgiveness of your sin. He is not saying that. He says, बुराइयों को दूर कर दे. That means there is something near me, बुराई, negativity, whatever it is, it has to be distant from me. So he is asking me, think about it, learn how to distance those बुराइयां from me. Again, wording, so really pay attention to that, right? और तुम्हें ऐसी जन्नतों में दाखिल फरमा दे. Now, when I read paradise, what is paradise? As in smiley, what does it mean? ऐसी जन्नतों में दाखिल फरमा दे. Now, दाखिल, the word दाखिल, entrance. So that means there is a door probably, because you enter in a door. Okay, so it is talking about entrance. So दाखिल फरमा दे, जिनके नीचे नहरें बह रही हैं. दरिया, नहरें बह रही हैं. Okay, नहरें बह रही होंगी. Which means there is a jannat, and under the jannat नहरें बह रही हैं. That's very interesting. I have not heard of that thing. Okay, if there's a door, I enter in a door, okay, I'm in a paradise, but underneath me, nehre beh rahi hain. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not logical. I have not seen a place that underneath me and I'm walking. So what is it? Is it a bridge? Probably. I don't know. I need to ask now. ठीक है? ये वो दिन होगा जब अली अल्लाह अपने नबी को और उन लोगों को जो उसके साथ ईमान लाए हैं रुस्वा ना करेगा. That day will be the day when those mu'minins who were believers, okay, and they believed in Allah, Ali Allah and Huzur Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they will not be embarrassed. शर्मसार नहीं करेगा, उसको embarrass नहीं करेगा, right? So we need to understand what does it mean. And then we said 57:12. That was our sequence. So it's so interesting that we are not going in a sequence fashion. We did 9:2, we did 66:8, 57:12. Do we understand that? Why are we doing that? Okay. So that in itself is a question. Why are we going in that kind of sequence? Now, 57:12 is hadith and it says, Us din, again, that day. So there is something about this day too. I need to ask, which day are we talking about? First thought is Qiyamah ka din. Qiyamah ka din, we will all be dead. Are we talking about after my death? Why do I worry about it right now? If Allah is telling me now, that day is so important to me, then why is it so important to me? And if I am dead, would it matter? Will I be there as my identity? Or I will be merged in Mawla? Because that's what we think. We'll be, as soon as we die, what will happen? We say this dua, Asal mein wasal kar. If I'm Asal mein wasal, I'm one with Mawla, then why to worry? That day is not valid for me. But no, it says again and again in every ayat, that day. So what is that day? उस दिन जब कि तुम मोमिन मर्दों और औरतों को देखोगे. मर्द औरत, ओके, तो जेंडर डिफरेंस भी है भाई कुरान में. वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड कि मर्द और औरत दोनों की बात हो रही है. तो कभी ये इंप्रेशन हो कि इट्स ओनली अबाउट मैन. नो, इट्स नॉट अबाउट मैन. पुछाना जो है मैन एंड विमेन दोनों से लिया जाएगा, राइट? उस दिन जब कि तुम मोमिन मर्दों और औरतों को देखोगे, उनका नूर उनके आगे आगे और उनके दाएं जानिब दौड़ावा. Khayal just asked, right? कि why is that so? कि Noor is in front, ahead of you, and it's on your right side. So that means, are there two types, two kinds of Noor? Okay? आज बुशारत है तुम्हारे लिए. Now those people who are walking has Noor ahead of them and Noor on the right side. For them, there is good tidings for them. खुशखबरी, बुशारत है. जन्नतें होंगी. जन्नत नहीं, जन्नतें होंगी. एक पैराडाइज की बात नहीं हो रही है. So many heavens. Okay, now that's another question. भाई एक हेवन का सुना था हमने, यहाँ पे मल्टीपल हेवंस कहाँ से आ गई? जन्नतें होंगी जिनके नीचे नहरें बह रही होंगी. अगेन इट्स सेइंग द सेम थिंग कि जन्नत है उसके नीचे नहरें हैं. अब तो मल्टीपल जन्नत है उसके नीचे नहरें हैं जिनमें वो हमेशा रहेंगे. हमेशा मीनिंग व्हाट? विल आई बी ऑलवेज अलाइव? हमेशा. व्हाट डज दैट मीन? टाइम की व्हाट इज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ टाइम हियर? यही है बड़ी कामयाबी. दिस इज बड़ी कामयाबी. यानी कि जो हम द हाईएस्ट लेवल यू वांट टू अटेन, दैट इज इट. इट्स टॉकिंग अबाउट हियर. सो वी वांट टू इवन नो कि व्हाट इज दैट कामयाबी. हमको जो पता ही नहीं है, जिस चीज़ के पता ही नहीं उसको तलाश कैसे करेंगे? फर्स्ट वी नीड टू हैव द नॉलेज टू फाइंड दैट डेस्टिनेशन. डेस्टिनेशन का पता ही नहीं है हमको. सो कितने सारे क्वेश्चन निकले, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट टाइम व्हेन वी रीड, following week we have another 3 ayat to discuss. We will read one before just for understanding, one after. It's a good practice, and then ask yourself all these questions for us to learn. We have this class, take advantage of it, right?
Subhanallah, Subhanallah. Once again, thank you for going back and reading this ayat. You know, जिस तरह मौलाना फरमाते हैं अपने डायमंड जुबली के अंदर कि just sitting in ibadat itself is a blessing. Just reading this ayat itself is a blessing for you, and it will bring you a lot of knowledge because you have laid your eyes on the words of God, and that is a blessing itself. Does not matter how you read it, where you read it, did you understand or not understand. It really doesn't matter at this point because you have taken what? The first step, and you opened the Quran, you logged on to the Quran online, and you found those ayat and you read it. That is blessing itself. So thank you for doing that. Now let's look at this first ayat, and you will see why we are talking about this ayat and in this particular sequence. So Surah Tawbah, ayat number 32, God is talking about what? There are people who's trying to blow away my नूर. क्या खुदा का नूर कोई मोमबत्ती है या कोई खुदा का नूर कहीं दरख्त पर या माउंटेन के ऊपर पड़ा हुआ है कि हम वहाँ पर चढ़कर फू करके उसको बुझा देंगे? Is there God's nur like that? It's just sitting somewhere? Why would God say there are people who's trying to blow away my nur? And why is he saying blow? Phook marna is with the mouth. You cannot blow the nur with anything else. Or you cannot blow the air with anything but your mouth. So what God is saying is, people with their false arguments using the mouth. People with their false arguments are trying to blow away the nur of Allah. Now, having said that, again, is Allah's nur is so fragile that somebody with his false argument can blow away his nur? No. People do not deny Allah. Even atheists, they do not try to blow away Allah's nur. They just don't believe it. And that's it. There's no argument. Either you believe in Allah or you don't believe in Allah. There's no argument in between when it comes to Allah. Where does argument start? With prophets and imams. So that Allah's nur, which is in prophet and imam, people are arguing about and giving false argument. Now let's take example. So when Prophet Muhammad came, what was the argument? We already have Bible. We already have our guidance. We already had our prophet. We don't need you. Who was saying that? The people who had already believed in Jesus. Remember, the same people that believed in Jesus when time was changing from Moses to Jesus. The same people were saying, how come people who believe in Moses are not believing in Jesus? Because we always need current and fresh guidance. So they were arguing with people who were believing in Moses. And people who were believing in Moses were saying what? We already have our book. We already have our guidance. We already have our prophet. We don't need Jesus. Same people. And you go back and back and back. Every single time a new prophet came, the argument was what? We already have it. We don't need you. Isn't that the same thing happened when Mullah Ali came? We already have Muhammad. We already have a Quran. We already have a guidance. We don't need Ali. So what they were doing? They were giving false argument. And they were trying to blow away Khuda's Noor, which was in Ali. So what they did? They killed him. Thinking we're going to blow away his Noor. Then what? It didn't happen. Imam Hussain came. They killed him also. What happened? Imam Zalaluddin came. On and on, they first will try to give false argument, and if that did not work, they physically would kill them. Karte, we came all the way to time of Sultan Muhammad Shah. And then Sultan Muhammad Shah writes in his memoirs that with this migration from Iran to Indo-Pak, the persecution on the imamate has ended today. Meaning no more of this. People will not be able to kill the imam anymore. So what happened in this time, that's another day discussion. Let's come back to the ayat. So now that we understand, when God says that people are trying to blow away my nur, He's not talking about Allah's nur. He's talking about the nur that He has put in Muhammad and Ali. Think about Adam. As soon as Allah put nur in Adam, this false argument started. Right there, on the very first day. What did Iblis say? I'm not going to believe in this man. He was doing what? Giving false argument. He was trying to blow away the nur which Allah had put in Adam. Did Iblis ever say that I don't believe in Allah? Look at the word he was saying. Ya Rab, I believe you and I will prostrate to you, but not to this human. False argument started the very first day. Same argument going on and on even until today. Now, having understanding this part, come to the second part of the same ayat. God said, I will complete my nur, does not matter if they like it or not. Allah nur is not completed already. That doesn't even sound right, that Allah nur at some time is not complete. Then somebody can say, well, we already established this, that this is not the Allah's nur we are talking about. We are talking about the nur of Muhammad and Ali. Then my question will be same to you. Are we saying that Ali and Muhammad did not have a complete nur? Then you will say, oops. That means Allah is not talking about his nur. Allah is not even talking about nur of Muhammad or nur of Ali, because that is also complete. And nobody will be able to blow away that nur either. So whose nur are we talking about now? That's what she was talking about. When we read this, listen to the Mullah Farman. When you read the Quran, a concept should be presented to you. When you read the Quran, there should be a concept that should come in your mind. It should present itself to you. So whose nur is God is saying that people are trying to blow away? If it's not Allah's, if it's not Muhammad's, if it's not Ali's, or any of the Imam, because they tried it and it did not work. So whose nur is people or people are trying to blow away today? Let's just come to today. It would be those Mu'mineen's nur. So if you receive that nur, people will try to blow away that nur from you. Because our nur is not completed yet. So we just learned two things. It is not Allah's nur, and our nur is not completed yet. And I'll give you a very small example with today's time, okay? And when we bring this closer to ourselves, it's easier to understand. As soon your brother, your sister, your friend, other people find out that you are trying to get a nur, education, a light, a window into your religion, beta, don't do that. They will give you all kind of false argument not to take this knowledge anymore. And the nur that you have just received, because it's just like a spark, they will blow it away. And you will be back into darkness. Darkness meaning ignorancy. So nur is the light. Here we are talking about knowledge.
So one is blowing away the nur totally or introducing doubts.
Yes, darkness or doubts. That's correct. So what they did with their false argument, they were trying. Remember the word here was, they are trying to blow away the nur. They will try to take the nur away from you. That's why I keep bringing this ayat, because this ayat is related to us. And we will prove this, that this is only related to us, but nobody else. And we will see that in a minute. Now, let's come to 66.8. If we understood that this nur is Mu'mineen's nur, not Allah's nur, nor the nur of Prophet and Imams, because that nur is never ever going to be blown away. Never. Right? Okay. Look at what it says in 66.8. On that day, you will see Mu'mineens, men and women. God is emphasizing that this belongs to everybody. Men and women. When Imam comes for Ismi Azam and says, okay, I'm going to do Baitul Qiyal, I'm going to give you this Ismi Azam, does he say, I only want men over here? Or does he say, okay, I want women in some other room? No. Because when it comes to Imam and the Murid, they are men and women. So God is emphasizing over here. Why God is doing that? Because Shariat, even up until today, after 1400 years, they are trying to say or think that only men are capable of getting this move.
So this is 66.8 or 57.5?
66.8.
The man and woman?
Yeah.
He's relating.
Oh, connecting.
Connecting.
So men and women. And what are they doing? They are saying that, oh Lord, please complete my nur for me in this ayah. That is a relationship. The word complete my nur is a relationship to that first ayat we talked about. That God said, I promise I will complete my nur. Remember? That is the connection right here. So these people are praying. Remember that nur is not complete yet. Who are those people? That's you. That is you and that is me. As God is talking about right here. That we need to pray. That, Lord, please complete my nur for me. I just received this nur. I'm just like a baby when it comes to this nur. Please don't let me die. We need to do that every day. And we need to pray for that. Right? Then says what? They are seeking for forgiveness. लेकिन कौन सी forgiveness? sin की नहीं, बोलते हमारी बुराइयों को, हमारी bad deeds को दूर कर दे. What bad deeds are they talking about? When it comes to Nur, the most worst bad deed is our ill concepts. If our concepts are incorrect, we will not be able to complete our Nur. And what are we doing here today? We are trying to correct our concepts. That's exactly what we are trying to do over here. To bring our concept in a line where we understand the Imam, we understand his Nur, and we understand how his Nur works in the Mu'minins. That's exactly what we are trying to understand. So I will ask you to read that ayat one more time, 66:8, to make sure we don't miss any word or any part of it.
ए लोगों जो ईमान लाए हो.
That's what I forgot. Remember, I keep saying this is about us. Whenever you read a Quran, make it personal. You know how people say don't make it personal in the physical world? Over here, my request to you is make it personal. Because until you don't make it personal, it's always about somebody else, and who cares? When you make it personal, you're going to start caring for your own safety. Right? A Iman walo, the one who believed. And if we believe that this is the ilm, this is the nur, this is the knowledge of Imam, then you are that believer. Because yesterday, we didn't even know what Imam Nur was. So we were not believer, nor we were not believer. We were nobody. Because we didn't even understand. But today we have become that believer. So now this ayat is about you. It's not about anybody else. ए ईमान वालों,
अल्लाह से तौबा करो, खालिस तौबा.
तौबा नसू का वर्ड अगर कुरान में आपके पास है हाईलाइट कर लें. तौबा नसू, खालिस तौबा. As she mentioned earlier, that this is not just asking for forgiveness, but this is the final asking for forgiveness. For the final time. Why would I say it's the final time? Are we never going to ask for forgiveness again? No. It means now with the understanding I'm asking for forgiveness. Up until yesterday, it was just on a belief system. हमारा माँ बाप ने बोला कि तोबा तोबा करना तो हमने तोबा तोबा किया. आज जब हम हाथ जोड़ के खड़े रहेंगे, that would be the final, knowingly, with the understanding, हम तोबा करने जा रहे हैं. ये हमारी final तोबा है. Because now we understand what we are doing and what we are saying. जी.
बैद नहीं कि अली अल्लाह तुम्हारी बुराइयां दूर कर देगा.
हाँ, ठहरे. उसमें कोई मसला नहीं है. There is no problem for Ali Allah to remove those doubts and remove those ill concepts from you. Just because he asked. Only thing he had to do was asking. Because you are asking, he will remove those doubts and ill concepts from you. Because with those ill concepts, we cannot move forward because we don't understand completely, right? जी.
और तुम्हें ऐसी जन्नतों में दाखिल फरमा देगा जिनके नीचे नहरें बह रही होंगी.
तुमको ऐसी जन्नतों में, more than one, and we will talk about the concept of hierarchy, and we will see how does Fanafi Imam and Fanafi Allah works, and then we will understand कि यहाँ पर जन्नतों का क्यों जिक्र है. It's talking about multiple heavens. Just a second ago, we were talking about 313 moments, and I want to just bring that over here, and I want to add so you can understand what Jannat is. अगर एक मोमिन उस मकाम पर पहुंचता है कि जहां पर वो खुद के लिए नहीं, जमात के लिए इबादत करता है। उसने क्या मकाम पाया होगा कि अब वो जमात के लिए दुआ कर रहा है। What he has received. This moment he has his own जन्नत, ना कि जन्नत जो इसमें हम जाने वाले हैं खुदा की जन्नत में। He had made his own जन्नत, he has his own जन्नत।